Last week, the ANC in the KZN province had promised that pupils will not go hungry from Tuesday. It was a promise that was repeated by the Education MEC Mbali Frazer yesterday, that all schools will have food delivered, ending this 2-week crisis. It will also ensure that all 2 million learners who rely on the National School Nutrition Program will be receiving their meals. The MEC, along with the Premier, are out in all the affected districts, I understand, to monitor this repeated feeding scheme. Reporter Lethiwe Mdluli on that story for us this morning. Lethiwe, hello to you. So give me a sense then, is it actually working? Because when we're talking about 5,500 schools, we're talking over 2 million pupils. Many of them rely on this meal as their only meal every single day.
Well, Gareth, right now we are at the KwaZulu Secondary School in Marion Hill, and the government has picked this school as the first school where they will be basically administering and seeing if food has been delivered. I want to show you what is currently happening at the school. During the deliveries, the school has just received a delivery. I want to show you the amount of food that they have right now. We were speaking to the service providers saying that they are going to be delivering food to 2 schools today, and this was the first one. Of course, we will be speaking to the Premier as well, because she's going to join us a bit later on, where she will share more about what is currently happening in the province. We do understand that the MEC for Education Mbali Frazer will be going to the district, where she will be monitoring this delivery of food as well. But as you mentioned, 5,444 schools were affected when the company that was awarded the tender to deliver food to majority of the schools here in the province failed to do so. And we do understand that over 2 million learners were affected by this. For about 2 weeks, they did not have food. But right now, as you can see, there's a huge amount of food at the school. We will be checking majority of the schools in the Pinetown district along with the Premier, and we do understand that eNCA MEC is going to be going to the Ndlovu district as well to monitor the progress there as well. We did speak to the MEC for Education yesterday, Mbali Frazer, when she was speaking during the May Day celebrations here in Durban, where she did give an update saying that they do want all schools to have food by today. And in seeing what is happening here at the KwaZulu Secondary School, we can see that the children will have a meal today. But of course, maybe it might not be every school that will have food. We will be on the ground just basically getting updates, and we'll speak to also the Premier regarding the investigation that her office currently has ongoing regarding this crisis, because the company, Pasena Retail, released a statement last week where they shared that they want to be paid for the work they claim that they have done, and they are saying that they're going to continue with the work. But we do understand that majority of the service providers that had been done away with, that had lost the tender, have been asked to come back. As you saw during the crossing earlier on, the 2 men that were delivering this food, they used to deliver food at the school, so they've been brought back to do their work. So we want to speak to the Premier about that investigation looking into this issue, and also just to get an update. What have they found, and as well as how many schools will be affected, and so far how is the progress going. So yeah, so at the moment at KwaZulu, we can say that a lot of learners will have a meal today, and we've seen the ladies who are preparing the food just basically getting ready to start with the cooking process. We do understand that meals are served at around 11 on a daily basis. So yeah, we will be keeping an eye and visiting more schools in the province, in the Pinetown district rather, to get an update on what's going on the ground.
Yeah, it's obviously great news that at least the school where you are now, and I'm sure others where cameras are going to be invited to go to, those children are going to be getting their meals, of course. But as I mentioned, 5,500 schools, it's not going to go according to plan today, Lethiwe, and I imagine the big question has to be, how is it that Pasena Retail had actually gotten this tender in the first place? It has been a complete disaster for schools the past few weeks, and even though government are coming out, they're PRing this, let's be honest, that they're fixing the issue. The point is, they're the ones that created the mess.
Of course, Gareth. And, you know, I want to bring in Uma. I don't know if she wants to speak to us. I just want to find out from her maybe how long and how did they manage to then serve some meals on a daily basis. Ma, I'm so sorry to just, you know, but I just want to find out. I know when umuntu in charge la esikoleni ngokuthi upheke and stuff. Ngicela ungichazele nje ukuthi how was the school affected ngokuthi ningabi nako ukudla for so long?
Hey, ngizothi nje kakhulukazi nje ingane bezingafundi ngesimanje ziyaphazamisa besheshe iphume silinde kungafiki. Njengamanje we are so happy ukuthi sekukhona sizokwazi ukuthi senze ngesikhathi zonke izinto ngendlela. Noma kungayiphelele ngicabanga ukuthi mhlambe ngeke kube isonto elizayo it's just for 1 week ngoba lesikole esikhulu zinezingane eziningi. Yeah.
And how many children ungasho ukuthi rely on ukudla kwala esikoleni on a daily basis?
Oh, it's 1,000 plus. Lesi sikole esikhulu sipheka kakhulu impela ukudla nje ingakho ngisho ukuthi na is for 1 week look. Yeah.
So bashilo ukuthi mhlambe bazobuya bezoletha okunye. Do you know ukuthi kuzokwenzakalani moving forward?
Ngikhathazekile ngoba bayasho ukuthi na selishintshile indaba yokuthi ukudla kutholwe sekubuyele kulama suppliers ngendlela yakudala mhlawumbe kuzoba noshintsho ngikhathazekile kodwa mhlawumbe by next week kuzoba normal angazi siyathandaza.
And honestly umucabanga zingaki ingane lesikoleni erelaya kulokudla eyiphuma emakhaya ahlwempu mhlambe ezazi ukuthi ukudla bazokutholela esikoleni kuphela?
Ziningi sisonke ngoba ngomsombuluko sapheka uphuthu silinde amasi angafika amasi ngoba sasa decide ingane zalicela uphuthu nje balunjazalo njalo uphuthu ziningi. Yeah.
Okay, Gareth, I just want to take you through what Uma is saying. Basically, she's in charge of the cooking here at the school, and she is saying that over 1,000 learners rely on food here at the schools, and over the past 2 weeks, unfortunately, majority of them could not have a meal a day. And within that 1,000 learners here at the school, most of them come from poor homes. Right now, she is sharing that even though they do have food supplied by the former service providers, it's not enough. It's only going to last them about a week, and after that they'll see what is going to happen. These are some of the answers that we need from government, you know, to find out if there's going to be more food delivered to schools, because if this food is only going to last this school for a week, it means that the service providers will have to come back and deliver more food again. She is saying that she's very worried about the amount of food that they received today, but of course we will get some answers, much needed answers from government a bit later on. And as you mentioned, you know, the awarding of that tender to Pasina Retail has been, there's been a lot of questions around it. Why did the Department of Education pick one service provider to service such a huge province? You'd understand that KZN has about 12 districts, so that service provider had to provide all those districts with food, and of course they failed, saying that it was logistical issues. Right now there's a back and forth between the Department of Education and the service provider, where the department is saying that they're still talking to their lawyers to see if they will be paying Pasina Retail for the work that they've done so far, which was a poor job, or they're going to be going back to the old system where they're going to be using former service providers. Uma here is saying that she's very happy that they're going back to the old system because it used to work, and she is hoping that they're going to keep the old system, because it's one of those things where they know who they're talking to on a daily basis, and they can go to them and tell them that they don't have enough rice for the day. So of course we're going to be speaking to the Premier a bit later on to get much needed answers regarding this.
Yeah, absolutely, quite right. And then Lethiwe, will come back to you for that, as well as you continue to crisscross the province as well. One school where you are now getting some food today for pupils who, let's remind you as well, is often the only meal that they get in a day, at least as far as nutritious meals are concerned. So not have that for 2-3 weeks is devastating for their schooling and of course devastating for their health as well. Lethiwe Mdluli will go back there again a little bit later this morning.